Hello, welcome to Poly Life Stories. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Starting out with story 1, it reads, hooked up with a couple. Now, what's the messaging etiquette? Advice needed. Messaging etiquette is tricky already and even harder when there's multiple partners, LOL. I recently hooked up with a couple I met at a party. We had a great time and we all said that we'd like to see each other again and exchange numbers. Usually, I'd send a message like, hey, I had a great time the other night, would love to see you again sometime, but I can't decide who to send it to. Do I create a group chat with both of them in it? Send it to them individually? For some reason, a group chat feels intense and creates the expectation that I'm only interested in them as a unit, when I'd be open to seeing them individually or together. But two messages seem like it sets up a comparison between them, and do I copy-paste the same message or rewrite it? So many questions I didn't think I'd run into, LOL, thanks in advance. Now for some advice and comments. Emerald Dead says, you're the unicorn, do whatever the F you want, and they should be grateful for it. You gotta have a steel spine to mess with pre-established couples. I say message them separately with a unique compliment for each to set the tone that they have to deal with you as an individual. Alternative Air 3163 says, totally agree, you're the unicorn, so shine bright. Send them separate messages with a fun compliment for each. Keep it light and let them know that you're up for anything, together or solo. They'll appreciate the individual attention. And then this person says, so I agree that a unicorn should do what they want when engaging with a couple. What I said applies to any relationship because we weren't looking for a unicorn. Hell, we weren't even looking for a partner. We made a friend who wanted to be an equal partner rather than someone we have mostly a sexual relationship with. If I hypothetically were a unicorn hunter, I would not expect them to just keep everything 100% fair and equal. People are not relationship robots that can equally split time, attention, and affection. This person says, making a group chat does not put you on equal footing. They still message each other privately and you only have access to them as a group. This is a breeding ground to be treated like an accessory instead of a person. And then this person says again, yeah, this is totally not a one-size-fits-all situation. Again, as I said, I feel like it put the relationship on equal footing. I obviously could have clarified that A, there is an imbalance in coming into an already established relationship. B, that I also completely agree with and understand the want and or need to communicate with them separately as the relationship between the individuals is important. C, this is strictly how my relationship happened to unfold and that it's not the rule. I specifically stated what my partners and I did and how it made me feel about it. Nothing more, nothing less. And I also said that I agree with the top comment. I understand that because that's how my relationship with my partners developed. It's not the same with all and would not be best for all situations. I was just saying my experience of what my partners and I did while trying to convey that I think the top comment is the best decision for this particular situation. Lazy_Daisy_13 says, I personally wouldn't consider swinging norms to be polynorms though. Polynorms would stay to message them separately. Adding a group chat in addition is also cool, but separate conversations ensure it's clear that there is a separate relationship with each person. Communicating as a couple only is commonly seen as bad form in the poly world. If OP met them swinging, clarifying intentions is probably way more important than who to message regardless though. Added also, OP, why are you the one messaging at all? You're the effing unicorn. They should be treating you like the grand prize. If they didn't initiate a follow-up, I'd move on to a couple who knows how rare and special I am. Sincerely, fellow unicorn. Untoward and then toward says, I do not think it's a unicorn's job to honor their union. That's their job. If I'm seeing a married couple, they should consider what I prefer. I do not mind group texts in the name of setting up hookups, but this is a poly sub. So if we are talking about romance and or friendship, individual text would be crucial. Nickeloid says, I don't disagree, BB, I'm poly, not a swinger. Only speaking here about their own norms since OP seemed unsure how to navigate. Swingers tend to joint text even friends they hope to sleep with someday. Dating couples is far less common in poly circles where we focus more on the individual and each separate dyad, but OP chose to engage with a couple, so should be given a sense of best practices and options as requested. Contacting them individually is also kosher, not at least because the couple seems to have failed to specify how they operate. I was primarily responding originally to OP wondering if a joint text would be seen as weird and trying to assuage their fears that it's not only kosher but even usually preferred among those couple types. I would not personally bother with a couple because in the best of scenarios, they rarely stay on the same page and in sync. Most swingers are DADT adjacent. They only want to be told in tandem and experience things together. And this is usually predicated on their feelings of insecurity and wanting guardrails. Sooner or later, that's going to go badly, and as you point out yourself, is reliant on doing their emotional labor for them instead of them taking ownership of their own responsibilities. Moving on to story 2. Boyfriend wants less time with me and more with the other partner. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend basically had me move out of his house, saying that living together every day was too much. I would stay there most of the weekends and go home at least every other weekend and a few days here and there. Each of his girlfriends, there are 2 of us, had assigned weekends, but that all changed too. Now he spends time with one, then the other, however long he wants to. I've gone at least 6 days without him and he doesn't seem to mind. It doesn't seem like he misses me at all. Then we spend our days together and he sees her like every day for at least a little bit. Should I take this as a hint and leave the relationship, or should I ask him about it? I feel completely pushed out and unwanted. Please help me and be kind. TIA. Now for some advice and comments. This person says, if your options are to talk about it or leave, it's always worth having a tough conversation. If his response doesn't feel supportive of you, then you'll have a much more clear answer of what to do. And then this person says, so you can ask for more time, of course, but you can't make him want to give you more time if he doesn't want to. You can only ask for more time and accept the situation as is, or remove yourself from the situation if it does not serve you. Becca_bear95 says, hi, I'm so sorry that you're hurting. Any big change like this can feel like being pushed aside, and it really sucks. So how long has he been seeing this other person? It seems like maybe he was spending very little time with her before because you were there every other weekend and an awful lot of the week as well. Was he only seeing her every other weekend, or did he see her at her house or something? I'm just wondering because perhaps she said, I need to see you more often than every other weekend, and this was his solution, so maybe it was nothing to do with you being unwanted and more to do with trying to meet her needs as well. Do you date other people? If not, I wonder if you should try to get out there. Possibly that you would feel less dependent on time with this partner if he wasn't your only. Also, when I started seeing other people is when I finally truly understood that my partner wasn't deciding between me and Meta or choosing one of us or over the other, because it wasn't doing that. Both relationships were completely separate in my mind and frankly completely different. And I had to be in those 2 relationships to see that before I understood it in reverse. But really what it boils down to is that you're going to have a conversation with him. You're not going to know what's going on and how he feels until you ask. You have to say that when he made this big change without really telling you why, you felt pushed aside and unwanted. You can even ask him, just like you asked us, whether you should take that as a hint. I would just ask it in a passive-aggressive way, more like, partner, I was caught off guard when you made such a big change to how much time we spend together. It actually made me wonder if maybe I should take the hint that you're not that into me anymore, or if you just needed a little bit more space and alone time or what. Can you tell me what drove this decision? And then assuming he's not trying to phase you out, you can also tell him that you need a little bit more time. Like you can pick a weeknight or to have a standing date that you go home from. So like if you're going to spend every other weekend there, can also have a standing date night like on Wednesdays, for example, or maybe you need more than that. Maybe you need to sleep over every Wednesday, but whatever it is, ask for what you need. Either he's going to tell you that he isn't interested in any more time with you, and then you'll know what you have to do, or he's going to meet you halfway. Hemingway was here says, I'd focus less on his other partner and concentrate instead on him wanting less time with you than you seem to want with him. Mismatches in desire can be painful. I would ask him the questions Becca_Bear95 posed, and then ask yourself if the situation is one you can stay in happily or one you need to leave. It does sound like maybe you need to adjust your expectations and prioritizations of this relationship and figure out a way that you can be happy and fulfilled. That's all for today. If you're enjoying these stories, please comment in the section down below and hit the like and subscribe button and the bell icon. Thank you.